That guy waits as on bonisa ama flames, that guy. Mr. Gigi. Who's that? Who be that? Why do you think that because you bought me a phone you own me? How?
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Things felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a 10. Like Daddy. All of the Barbies is pretty. Damn. All of the Barbies is bad.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kwazeybear, also known as Kwazeybear on all social media platforms. Do subscribe, be a part of this family, and if you're returning subby, welcome back, darling. Now guys, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are doing another story time, and this story time is about how I was courted by a well-known taxi owner in KZN who thought that he could control me just because he bought me a phone. Like in journey. So I don't want to waste too much of your time, guys. Don't forget to watch the ads. Don't forget to like this video so I can reach a greater audience and enjoy this video. Okay, so it was many years ago. I was still a teenager at this time, and I was in town in Durban, right? And when I was walking in town, I met up with these two gentlemen. I would like to call them abomalumezi because these were grown men. One was a lot older, well, looked a lot older than the other, but I'll just call them omalumezi for now, right? And one of them actually was like, he stopped me. When he stopped me, he was like, hi, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. And out of respect, out of intronipo, guys, I like gave my time to these people because they were older. So I'm thinking, maybe something, you understand? So I stop and he introduces himself. Hi, my name is, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call him, what am I gonna call him, child? I'm gonna call him Psycho Man, right? My name is Psycho Man, and my surname is, what's the surname? I'm just gonna say the surname is Gig, right? My name is this and my surname is Gig. And I was like, oh, okay. Now guys, if you are from KZN, there are some people that are kind of popular in KZN for various reasons. So this guy's surname was a popular surname, especially in the taxi industry. However, you don't think that everybody who has that surname belongs to that family of, you know. So at the time when he told me a surname, it didn't click to me that he's referring to the same Gig surname of the popular taxi family or taxi business, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. So he asked me my name. I'm like, no, and he's like, what's your surname? I'm like, Ntombela. And this one thing about Zulu guys, they will want to call you Umantombela. You understand? So he's like, oh, hi, Mantombela. Oh, okay, how are you? No, I'm good. Where are you off to? I'm like, no, I'm going home. Where do you stay? I tell him, no, oh, whereabouts? Gwandengezi. So I'm like, no, I stay Elokshini, and I start sort of like explaining whereabouts I'm from. And I used to stay on main road, guys. Like my home was on the main road, so every taxi, every bus, every body would literally pass by my house because it was on the main road, right? It was like the third house from the corner. So I basically direct him, and he's like, oh, I know that place. I'm like, oh, is it? And he's like, yeah, sharp. So I direct him, and then he's like, no, I don't want to waste too much of your time. Can I please have your contact numbers? So I'm like, no, I don't have a phone. And when I say this, I'm sure in his mind he's like, oh, this child is playing around with me, she just doesn't want to give me her numbers, and I was like, no, I don't have a phone. And in all honesty, guys, I didn't have a phone at the time because I had been robbed like 2-3 months prior, and my mom told me that she was not going to buy me another phone because when I was robbed, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I wasn't supposed to be there. So my mom was like, I'm not having it. I'm not buying you another phone. Sonje, you're phoneless. And I was okay with that because it wasn't cked, the social media where I needed to be on Instagram. And, you know, it was way back when. So Instagram didn't exist. Facebook maybe did exist, but like it wasn't so popular then, and I wasn't so into it then. So I really didn't care that I didn't have a phone, right? Sharp. So I tell him, no, I don't have a phone. And I don't explain to him what happened in detail, but I tell him, no, I was robbed and I don't have a phone. So I literally don't have a phone. So he's like, no, we need to change that. And me being me, at that time I was young, so I'm thinking, he's just saying that, you know. It's like, no, that means I need to get you a phone so that I'm able to get a hold of you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, like whatever. And then he's like, okay, bye. I'm like, and then I leave. I take a taxi home, I get home, carry on with my life. So now, although I was young, I still could see when a person is courting me. I understood the Mjolo industry by then, right? So I was like, okay, sharp. I got home. This was a Saturday when I met this guy, Mr. Gig. It was a Saturday when I met Mr. Gig. Sharp. Sunday comes, Monday comes, and then I think on Tuesday I go to town. When I go to town, I bump into the malumes that Mr. Gig was with when I met him on Saturday. And the guy's like, how mantombela? And I'm like, oh, hi. And he's like, unjani? I'm like, no, I'm good. I get into a taxi. Now, I used to love sitting in the front in a taxi. Reason being, guys, I'm tiny. So every time I sat anywhere else in a taxi, they'd always want to move me to the back seat because, oh, when we slander, they always used to say that, hey, when I'm back seats. So to avoid that, and obviously because that you understand, I would always actually move to the back. So if I was sitting in the front, nobody could move me from the front seat, you understand? So I used to love sitting in the front seat. I sit in the front, and I can see that Umalumezi is busy talking to the driver of this taxi that I'm in, but I don't pay much attention because I can't really hear them anyway. Sharp, the driver gets into the taxi goes, people start passing their money, I'm counting their money. Eventually I give the money to the driver and I'm like, nansi mali iphelele. And he's like, how much is it? So I tell him this is how much it is, and then he gives me back my money. So I'm like, and he's like, no, Umalumezi has already paid for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't ask questions. I take my money, I shove it back in my bag. Sharp, I go home. Same day in the afternoon around 6, I hear a child calling my name outside my gate. One thing about me at home, guys, my gran always used to keep the gate locked. Our gate was always locked, or even if it wasn't locked, it was always closed. So people always assume that the gate is locked. So this child is calling me. I keep getting distracted. So this child is calling me on the streets, and then when I go out, I'm like, yebo, I said, no, go no at the corner. Now remember, I stay, my house is the third house from the corner. So I'm like, and the child is like, yeah. So I go to the corner. Guys, everything used to happen at the corner. Every mjolo, every what used to happen at the corner out of respect in you understand? So corner was very famous. So it's Mr. Gig. Mr. Gigi is on some how mantombela unjani get no ngiyaphila. Umalumezi told me that he saw you earlier on today. Get mina yabe ngiserenka nje. Oh, buye kuphi? Hayi ngiyamtshela. We start having this conversation. And then he's like, and then I tell him, get me 8 years of 10, it's late. I shouldn't be on the streets. Like ekhaya, they will shout at me, like they don't want intombazane ngaphandle estradini sekhanyo gesi, basically. So my gran used to have this thing because once the street lights go on, every person needs to be inside the gate. You understand? So I'm telling him, I can't be outside. I can't be seen outside at this time. It's late. And then he's like, no, Pela, because on a phone, I decided to just come just to check if your address was valid in. I was like, yeah, I stay here, ganji, but don't come at this time. Like, don't bother to come at this time. And it's like, no, I need to make a plan about this thing, Yako, of not having a phone. So I'll come back on Friday and I'll bring you a phone. I'll try to come early. And I was like, okay. Yeah, well, without like overthinking it, guys, like without overthinking it, I sharp, guy leaves, I go back home. Friday comes around 3 o'clock. I hear a child call me, Nakwazi, and I go out. Mengphuma kuno malume okufunayo ekhoneni. I go to the corner. When I get to the corner, guy is there. Guy is like, awumantombela sengize naleyo mpahla phela. I'm here with the agreement that we had. Here is your phone. He takes out this box. Guys, brand new from the box. He brings out what's it called? Sony Ericsson Walkman. I'll try put a picture here if I can find it. Guys, that phone was one of the popular phones in terms of sound because it was so loud. Like the music was so loud on that phone. But yeah, so he gives me this phone. It's in a box, kune SIM card and everything is there. I open the phone and it's like, it writes, and I'm like, yeah, it writes. Thank you so much, you know. As you know, you're welcome. I can't stand not being able to get a hold of you. So I'm the type of person that wants to communicate and da 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 da. So this is your phone. And then I put the SIM card in the phone. He gets my numbers. I get his numbers. And then he's like, no, I just wanted to come bring the phone. I'm not here for long. I've got stuff to do. I will call you, game manager, because I can call you. Aisha. Guys, I had to hide the phone. I had to hide the phone because where was I gonna say I got the phone from? Where? I ngifihle phone, ngifihle ifoni, ngingene naye endlini. Phone was always on silent. One thing about it, it was always on silent. Shapo, later on that night, he calls me. He's like, yeah, at least now I can talk to you and call you, da da da. But he has not made his intentions clear yet. But I mean, I'm a teenager. I'm in my late teens. I understand where this is going, but it's just that he hasn't said anything yet. Sharp. He calls. Now guys, because I'm a person that didn't have a phone for such a long time, I was not used to having a phone. So I would sometimes just leave my phone in hiding because I would hide it. I would leave my phone in hiding and forget about it, right? And he would call and not get a hold of me. And then I'd probably like call him much later on and be like, oh, I saw your missed calls. And he'd get so pissed. Hi, this one day he got so pissed and I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. Yes, you need to understand that one, I haven't had a phone in a long time, and two, I'm not a person who's always on the phone. There's no need for me to always be on the phone. So when I'm hiding my phone, I don't hear it. So that's why you don't get a hold of me. But as soon as I get to my phone, I will make sure that I call you. And it's like, no, that's unacceptable. I can't stand not being able to get a hold of you. That's the reason why I got you a phone. You need to tell your family that you've got a phone now. And I'm like, Njani, when did we get here? Like, when sifike nini lana? Shabo. And I just try to make him understand, no, this is the situation. You need to try and calm down. Guys, it was like, yeah, he hears me. Shabo. Few days go down the line. I go to school. I leave, I forget. I didn't leave. I forgot my phone at home. I forgot it. Shruti, he called the whole day from the morning right through to the afternoon when I got back, and then he was pissed. He was pissed, Uyangizwa. And when I get home again, because I'm not used to having a phone, I don't immediately go and check on my phone. I continue with my day. I cook, I do this. Tell me why around 6:30. Remember, I had told him that street lights, no wazi, okay? Around 6:30, okay, Gizwa, someone calling my name. And it's not a child. It's not a child calling my name. It's a man's voice. Wait, guys, I froze for a good few minutes. I froze. I remember I was washing dishes in kitchen. I froze and I was like, hey, bo, is that a man calling my name? And then I walked towards the door. Now, if you're standing in front of the door, ekhaya, you can literally see Imote on the road. You can see everyone that's passing on the road. When I stood at the door, tell me why Mogai is parked right opposite the gate, yasekhaya, outside the car with a cigarette. Yeah, Mudimu. I stand by the door and I'm just like, and I walk back to the kitchen. I continue washing dishes. Auntie, my mom heard the person calling my name. Oh, she heard. So she goes outside. When she goes outside, guys, did my mom not call Mr. Gig by his name? Full name. And I was like, my mom knows him? Shit. My mom knows him very, very well. Now, when I say this person is part of a family that is well known in the taxi industry, I mean the family is well known in the taxi industry. Don't come name dropping in my comments saying this name. They are not the only people with taxis in KZN, okay? Ha! My mom goes outside and she's like, Mr. Gig, what are you doing here? And then he's like, no, I'm waiting for someone. At when yini that's calling my daughter la endlini. Ati, you have a daughter. What's your daughter's name? Ngiyayizwa conversation. I think I washed one spoon for a good 10 minutes. Ati, what's your daughter's name? Ati, no, ngizwa umuntu ebiza ingane yami la. So ngiyaxakeka mase ngiphuma ngibona wena umphambi kwasegeyithini lala ekhaya. And it's like, I know, mina khona umuntu engimele lana esizohlangana naye kanjani. My mom comes back into the house. Okay, they finish their conversation. My mom comes back into the house and she's like, "When was uhlanganise no Mr. Gig when?" Kithi mina, Mr. Gigi. Who's that? Who be that? Who's Mr. Gig? Ngamuphika ngathi nje angimazi kwa Mr. Gig ubalo. Athi no ukuthi ngizwe umuntu ebiza igama lakhe. Ngithi mina kunomuntu ebiza igama lami angizwanga ya. Athi ngizwe umuntu ebiza igama lakhe uma ngiphuma ngihlangana no Mr. Gig. Mr. Gig owaka Gigi emateksini kanje and nje angazi ukuthi ungahlanganisani nalomuntu. And I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know Mr. Gig. I don't know him. I don't know. Umbone nje ukuthi uyayibona lento ukuthi Well guys, later on that day I decided to call him because he had been calling. Now after my mom spoke to him, he had been calling and I couldn't answer because now phone. Later on ngimfonele back ngithi mina hayibo, I'm so confused about what you did today. Like firstly ngakutshela ngathi indaba zasebusuku, like I can't go out of ekhaya ebusuku. 2, you're parking right in front of my gate. How disrespectful. Like why would you do that? And it's like I bought you a phone so that I can get a hold of you. Now that you have a phone, I can't get a hold of you. I don't want that. And I was just like, you know what, this phone is gonna give us problems. Me and you are gonna have serious problems. Phone, come and fetch the phone because I can't deal with this. Like come. I didn't literally mean like right now. Athi yena ngiyeza manje, like iphuma ngaphandle kwakini ngiyeza, give me 30 minutes, I'll call you and I'll be outside. Come. Hayibo guys, past 9 ebusuku ke manje ngiyantshontsha ngiyaphuma, ngiphume nefone nebox na yonke into, ngifike ngithi nje ni nathi phone yakho thatha. That was the last time I spoke to Mr. Gig and I was like, never ever again, because why do you think that because you bought me a phone you own me? How? Anyway, so let's story time Sammy. That is my story time about how I almost dated a psycho. That guy was psycho. That guy always has on bonisa ama flames, that guy. And the reason why I thought to share the story, I had actually forgotten about the story time, but a few weeks ago on social media there was this talk about a 16-year-old or 15-year-old girl who got an iPhone 15 Pro Max from a 50-year-old man, and there was a lady on TikTok that spoke about how social media is influencing young children to want all these flashy things. And in all honesty guys, it's not social media. We need to address the actual issue, which is the older men that go and approach young girls. That is where the problem is. The problem isn't with the young girls, the problem is with the older men, because this thing has been going on for years. It's not something ikalamaj. Yes, now it's more in the open because of social media, but it has been going on for years. I mean, in my times, where was social media for it to influence me wanting a phone? There was no such thing as social media. Now we want to use social media. No, we need to address the men. The older men need to stop approaching kids. Why niya einganeni? Nifunani ezinganeni ezincane. That is the issue that we need to address, and stop trying to blame the kids for tanda izinto. Yes, nabo bayithanda izinto nabo, it's something that we need to address, but mostly let us address the men that are approaching these kids. Why are you approaching kids and promising them all these flashy things? Nibadal. It needs to be addressed. Anyway, that is just my story time. I thought I should share it, and I didn't want to share it during that whole saga, the 15 Pro Max girl, because there was just a lot of drama going on, and I usually don't engage in content whereby controversy, but yeah, that is my 2 cents on that. That is my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.